Before I begin with this topic of discussion, shout out to the men. Shout out to the men's to the men. How can I say this? No. Shout out to my peers out in Phoenix, Arizona, for having me as a guest speaker. Yes, yes, fellas, this is how you make progress. Not only we talk about issues that's been happening, but we spread the word. But yeah, I had a good time out there in Phoenix, Arizona. Perfect time to be out there too, especially when it ain't too hot. But nevertheless, it's time to start the show. In which, yep, it's me again. They hate us. This is why they give a fuck about us at the same time. As always, I am your host, JD Miles. The MGTOWs, they love to hate. Even the ones who claim everybody loves to hate them, loves to hate MGTOW at the same time as always, which is why our haters keep us relevant to this very day. And I'm back again. For tonight's topic of discussion, feminist teacher triggered over her students telling her she dresses inappropriately. Oh, we got a doozy here. And shout out to Cheesa Zed, the host of the Coffee Pod. I'll leave the link to his full video in the description box. Go check it out. But we got to get down to this because apparently you have this feminist teacher who believes that somehow it is okay to dress inappropriate around her students, and her students is not supposed to call it out. And boy, her trigger levels are off the charts. But enough of me babbling. Let's get down to business, shall we?
I got shamed by a group of my students last week. I was extremely emotional, and I actually had to take about 15 minutes to go cry in the bathroom because I was so disgusted and upset by their behavior.
All right, what do you guys think of this? This teacher says that she got shamed. So we're talking about SLUT, shamed by teenage boys at the school where she teaches because of something that she was wearing. There's something that needs to be observed about the way that she's talking about this particular situation that I think most of you guys might have an issue with. I definitely did. Let's keep listening.
Definitely.
They're probably between ages 13 and 15. They're freshmen. And this girl comes up to me and she goes, "Hey, just so you know, they're saying that your outfit is not appropriate and talking about your..." I look at them and I'm like, "Are you actually saying that right now? Are you serious?" And they were like, "No, we weren't." But they were like laughing. I'm not going to infantilize them and say that they shouldn't know, because they should. They're 14. But the worst part is the school didn't suspend them or reprimand them in any way, because I think that behavior is like so normalized and it's dismissed as boys will be boys. But it was incredibly degrading and dehumanizing because I was just wearing pants that fit my body.
All right, so you guys...
It doesn't matter if you're wearing pants under there. The fact of the matter is this, ma'am. And that's the problem with these feminists. They believe that they could do whatever they want to do and expect for no one to have a problem. But ma'am, you're dressing inappropriately around underage children. And yes, those boys have a right to call you out on how inappropriately you dressed around them. Because believe it or not, ma'am, there are teachers that found themselves in hot water dressing any way they want around underage students. And what's more, you was expecting for the school to take disciplinary action against those boys for calling you out on how you dress so inappropriately. And you thought that they was going to get punished? Really? And let's just give this feminist teacher the benefit of the doubt. Suppose if the school took disciplinary action against those boys, would it be detention or suspension? Oh, especially suspension. Then they go home. Their parents find out about the entire thing. Their parents turn around and ask their children, why was you suspended or got detention? And your students, their kids turn around and say that because we called our teacher out on how inappropriate she was dressed. Oh, you think those parents will not be marching to that school with asking questions? Especially the fact that the school is allowing their teachers to dress any kind of way around their students, even inappropriately. Then guess who's going to be the one that's next that's going to be under hot water? Here's a hint. It won't be the students. It's going to be you. And believe me, you can't tell us nothing different, especially when you have teachers getting fired. Yes, you heard me. You have female teachers getting fired just for having OF accounts. Next thing you know, her students and other kids at that school find out that teacher had not only have OF account, but they have, let's just say, non-safe for work material. Those kids get their hands on it. They spray it around the school. Next thing you know, the faculty get their hands on it. Guess what? Okay then. Does this feminist teacher really want to be in that situation right now? And no, their parents will not give a fuck about your belief system. They ain't gonna give a fuck about the fact that you're a feminist who believes you can dress any way you like. To them, you're unprofessional, and on top of that, you're showing yourself around underage students. That's all they're gonna care about, more than your belief system. But I digress. Let's continue.
So you guys heard it for yourself. This teacher's like, these young teenage boys were looking at my outfit and they were saying, hey, her outfit's inappropriate. Her cheeks were showing, so on and so forth, right? A very inappropriate, awkward conversation to have with what are young teenage boys. Here's my issue with this thing, because here's what's surprising. I actually do think that a young man should know not to, like there's a way to talk to adults. I do think there's a way to approach this whole particular situation. Here's the thing though. This top comment here made me realize that she just doesn't like men in general and probably wouldn't hold women, if they did something of the equivalent, or young girls, to that same exact standard. Never mind that if you go on her page and you check out her bio here, you have queer, leftist, feminist, and all type of woke and highly liberal tags here. And so it makes sense that she's that she got shamed for her outfit. Was her outfit inappropriate? If it was highly inappropriate, then it should be expected that somebody's going to say something. If it wasn't and they were just acting up, then, a stern talking to, hey, don't talk about an adult woman's behind like that. It's inappropriate. Okay, cool, move on. Here's my problem. Top comment here reads, I hate teenage boys. Here's what's going to surprise you. She liked this comment. I know you can't see that she liked this comment, but she liked this comment. Chisha, why should we take your word for it? You don't have to. Let's check out the replies. Someone responded back and says, I wish we as a society would make an effort to educate them so this doesn't happen, at least their parents or something. Okay, never mind that. That's not what we're talking about. How
Now, what has Uncle JD been saying? No, seriously, what has Uncle JD been saying? They always want to cry about misogyny. They always want to cry about men hating women. But when it's the other way around, well, you got these women out here being misandrous, these women out here showing their hatred of men and boys, then somehow that's different. Somehow misandry and women who hate men is okay. But what has Uncle JD been saying? One part of sexism is demonized and condemned, while the other gets a free pass. But then they sit there and wonder why no one gives a fuck about their cries and complaints about misogyny. Oh, did I say the quiet part out loud? Yes, it's true. The same ones who want to sit there, boo-hoo, whine, cry, bitch, and complain about misogyny are the same ones who believe that it is okay for women to be misandrous. And as Uncle JD also stated, because we can clearly see this, not just myself, but others can clearly see this shit. You can't get rid of one part of sexism without getting rid of the other. And as long as they keep making excuses for the other half of sexism, then guess what? All the whining and crying about the other part of sexism will be ignored. And this is the problem with these feminists. They always whine and cry about misogyny, yet somehow they believe that it's okay for them to promote their misandry. And no, let's not sit here and pretend that, oh, feminists don't hate men. Yes, they do. What did Tom McDonald say? Feminism, I believe Tom McDonald said it best. Feminism used to be the most righteous of fights. But it seems like nowadays they just secretly hate guys. And the comment that's under her video is evident in the proof. Feminist hates men. Feminist hates boys. While at the same time, they always want to boo-hoo, whine, cry about men being misogynist. Men hate women. And they wonder why everybody's looking at the shit as being completely one-sided. They sit back and they wonder why their cries fall onto deaf ears. Can they even complain about hatred while promoting hatred at the same time? Or let me go the extra mile and say this. Can anyone fight hatred with hatred? Oh, that's a question that still has yet to be answered. But let's continue.
How does this prove that she liked this comment of I hate teenage boys? As a teacher, this person here says her liking this comment about her students is crazy, though. She should not be teaching if this is how she feels about them. And so you might be confused. What happened to the like? She unliked it.
She doubled back, boy. Woo, woo. She doubled back. Woo, woo. She doubled back. Woo, woo. And this is how we know that she liked it, that comment. And whoever left that comment there telling her about herself, salute to you. And no, removing that like does not get you off the hook, especially if you got people in the comments completely telling on you. Out the gate. Let's continue.
She unliked it as soon as people started calling this out. And now I have issues, right? I do not want, or I wouldn't want, some extreme, far left feminist woman teaching my sons, who I know is online, liking comments like, I hate teenage boys. Like she liked this comment, I hate teenage boys. Let's check out the rest of this thread. This guy goes on to say, but if a male teacher was liking comments saying he hates teenage girls, then it would be a problem.
Oh, nope, they cannot. Nope, they ain't got shit to say about that because yes, suppose if it would be the other way around. Suppose if a male teacher jumped up and say, this is why I hate teenage girls. Guess what? They come in with their pitchforks and tiki torches. Ready? They come in with an angry mob. Oh, they gonna be. Oh, suppose if it was a male teacher saying that quote unquote, this is why I hate my female students. Oh, they'll be in the execution. But no, Joe. No, Joe. But somehow a female teacher talking about this is the reason why I hate my male students, somehow that's okay. Somehow that's different. And as I said, this is one of the many reasons why the shit is exactly what it is today. They wonder why nobody gives a damn about all that whining and crying about misogyny coming from the same group of women that has no problem showing their hatred and misandry against men. And even to this day, this is the reason why Uncle JD ain't trying to hear that fucking shit because as I say before, it's funny how everybody is all in your face about misogyny and men hating women, while at the same time, this is coming from a group of people that is no better than those same men that they cry, bitch, and complain about. Yeah, Uncle JD said it. The same ones who boo-hoo, whine, and cry about men hating women are the exact same ones who hates men. And no, this is no big secret. Everybody knows this. Everybody knows this for a fact. But no. Don't focus on our sexist behaviors. Please focus on these men's sexist behaviors. Fuck out of here.
Think of a male teacher who's working at a school, who's liking comments saying I hate teenage girls. That would be a serious problem. I've always said, man, that as much as people may disagree with what I may think or what men who maybe value certain traditional dynamics within relationships or when it comes to social issues in society, though we may differ, one thing you'll never hear me say is I hate anybody or insert anybody who you think I hate, because I really do not.
Same here. And I got retarded fucks trying to speak on my behalf, talking about, JD Mills hates women. Bitch, shut your motherfucking ass up forever. Because unless I say it and it comes out of my own mouth, I don't need your retarded fuck ass to speak for me as if I don't have a fucking voice. And the crazy part about it is, this is coming from the same retarded fucks who ain't got shit to say when there's women out here doing that exact same thing to men. They're quiet like They're quiet like a church mouse. But if it's a situation involving a man doing that to a woman, now all of a sudden they want to jump out their seats they want to jump out their seats and wants to start crying, bitching, and complaining. Have several seats and shut y'all hypocritical asses up forever. Let's continue.
I really don't. I don't have that type of hatred for other people. Why? Because I'm living my life. I'm grateful, and my beliefs and the things I value don't come from a place of hate. But we often allow this type of rhetoric of hatred. And how do you think these boys feel being raised up in schools where they're made to feel like they are the problem for just being men? They want to turn these men into male feminists. Well, Chisha, how do you know? Check out this other video, because if you go on her page, here she is talking about how men should embrace feminism, right? Let me see what else people said here. Oh, please, she can feel some type of way. Oh, wow, look at this. So here are women who are actually supporting that whole I hate teenage boys. Wow, this is crazy. There's so many statistics that prove why this isn't the same. Let's see. Yeah, except most teenage girls aren't SLUT shaming. I mean, it's on the screen. I don't even know at this point. They're female teachers, are they? Or they're male teachers, right? So they don't care. They do not care. This next commenter says, if he hated female students because they sexualized and shamed him, then that wouldn't be unreasonable. So they actually support hate.
And yes, you got the dumb broads in her comment section sitting there being enablers. That's all they're trying to do. They're trying to enable the bullshit. Why doesn't that surprise me? I just don't know.
This is what these 55 people who liked the fact that this female teacher liked that comment of I hate teenage boys, which is a general statement. They're like, yeah, if you can justify hate, then it's okay to hate other people. Incredible.
Indeed. Yes. Women who hates men and hates boys is justifiable. It's so justifiable. But when the tables are turned and there are men out here who hate women and girls, we need to burn them at the stake. And once again, this is the reason why the vast majority ain't taking these feminists seriously when it comes to their cries about misogyny. And Uncle JD is just being brutally honest here. Because people could clearly see that those same feminists who whine and cry about misogyny are the same feminists who has no problem being misandrous against men. To them, it's okay to hate men. It's okay for them to hate boys. But misogyny needs to be condemned. No, ma'am. Yes, pun intended. You want to get rid of misogyny? Then guess what? Misandry has to go as well. And no, nobody's trying to hear the excuses. If misogyny needs to go, if misogyny needs to go, then misandry needs to go right along with it. You can't get rid of one without getting rid of the other. Point blank, period. But as long as they want to defend misandry, guess what? They're going to continue complaining about misogyny. Because guess what? As long as they decide that they're going to be misandrous, guess what? Misogyny is not going to go anywhere. And the more they keep showing their hatred for men and boys, wait, what do they think is going to happen? We feminists, we're gonna promote the hatred of men and boys, and no one should have a problem with it. But misogyny needs to go. And this is why, even to this day, in 2025, they still complain about misogyny. Sometimes I wonder.
He goes on to say your first instinct is to generalize and hate an entire group of people. They're kids. Somebody else who says, yes, feminists have been trying to get men to do this for years. In parentheses, they're the ones with the majority of social influence and therefore are the only ones who can do it. And yet, all right, let's see. Wow. This is crazy. And so this is how society loses young boys. Like if you're wondering, young boys who will soon become men, how do you lose them? You lose them by demonizing them, painting them as villains, hating their masculinity. And don't get it twisted. These young men end up realizing, and they know that you are some type of a feminist. They see your account probably.
And then these will be the same ones who be sitting there wondering why these young boys are orbiting these male spaces. Why these young boys go to these male spaces. And as much as they want to blame the manosphere, the red pill, us MGTOWs, MRAs, what may have you, let's keep it up front and real. Call a ball and a strike. Because in case I have not say this, I'm going to say this right here, right now. These women out here needs to stop pretending like they do not have a hand in this. Yeah, I said it. Women like her, who's out here putting these young boys through all that fucking misandry and hatred, are also the reason why those young boys seek refuge in these male spaces. But they mad at these male spaces all because young boys are listening to them. No. I shit you not. You got these women out here. You got these feminists out here. You got these cuck simp manginas out here complaining about young boys going to these male spaces. But these are the same retarded fucks who continues to ignore the fact that they themselves had a hand in it. They themselves led those boys to those male spaces. Yes, I'm finally saying this shit. And fuck, I'm finally saying this shit. And fuck anybody's feelings who is mad over this shit. You can't hide the fucking truth. And that's a fact. Let's continue.
Shoot. And they will grow up saying, you know what? That woman had a problem with men. And you wonder why a lot of these Gen Z young men lean towards more conservative values. It's because of chicks like this.
If men would actually listen to us, you guys would realize that feminism also...
Let me go back on this. It's true. As I stated a minute ago, they give this rhetoric to these young boys, trying to emasculate them, trying to shame them for being men, for being boys. But then they sit there and wonder why. These boys turn conservative. Why some of these boys be listening to these male spaces. But they sit there and pretend like they had no involvement in that. Nope. All of that shaming led those boys there. And that's a fact. Now let's listen to this same feminist teacher give out her bullshit ass reason of why feminism benefits men. And which, of course, is so dumb as fuck, but we're going to listen to it anyway.
Gen Z young men lean towards more conservative values. It's because of chicks like this.
If men would actually listen to us, you guys would realize that feminism also benefits you because of how much you hate us.
And how does feminism benefits men? Benefits men when it's all about women? And yeah, I hear a lot of feminists saying that, but when questioned, how does it benefit men? They don't have a clear answer. And most of the time, they'll just refer back to, feminism benefits men because it deals with women problems. And which, of course, that is no benefit to the man at all. It's just straight bullshit. This is the reason why they got male feminists out here looking so dumb, weak, and stupid. Out the gate, let's continue.
It genuinely interferes with your ability to listen to our arguments. Feminism at its core is about dismantling existing structures that harm women. Also, on the flip side, it's about intersectionality. We don't like toxic masculinity. We don't like the fact that, men can't cry, that you guys are taught that from a young age, because that's what leads to suicide, ideation, and potentially violence as you get older. We don't think that's
Because feminism wants these men to be weak, effeminate, and emotional. But as we constantly see, what happened to these male feminists? What happened? Kissing all these women's asses, and guess what? Those same women still don't respect them. In fact, I'll go the extra mile and say that those women walk over those male feminists. So basically, the life of a male feminist is expendable. Yeah, they're only there to benefit them, but once their services are no longer needed, guess what? You're no different than the men that they taught. those same male feminists will be no different than the men that they shit on. But these male feminists is so dumb they don't even take that into consideration. You're being used as cannon fodder. They're being used as cannon fodder and then dished on the side of the road once they're no longer usable. But let's continue.
I think that's okay either. Yes, we care about your mental health. So maybe listen to our conversations instead of just immediately getting defensive. It's not personal.
It's not personal.
Oh, it's not personal. Fuck out of here.
Yeah. Insane, man. Again, you have 200 plus comments right here of people defending this woman for saying she hates teenage boys, right? And this is why you the feminist movement, modern feminist movement in specific, will get nowhere because they believe this is how you get things done, using hate. So yeah, I'm looking at all these comments.
Case in point, feminist is trying to fight hatred with hatred. But as I recall, my college instructor said it best. They think they can fight. They're trying to fight hatred with hatred, then wonder why it isn't working. In fact, not only it doesn't work, but guess what? When you fight hatred with hatred, it only breeds more hatred. So basically, fighting hatred with hatred is a never-ending cycle. And as I say before, if the feminists want misogyny to go, then guess what? They need to let go of their own misandry. And as I stated, you cannot fight one part of sexism without addressing the other. Other words, the more they defend their side of sexism, guess what? They're not going to get rid of the side that they stand opposed to. Both sides needs to go. And word is born on that.
These people are defending. They're defending the hate. Unbelievable.
Straight up, Jesus said. But as I said, until they come to terms with the fact that they can't get rid of misogyny without getting rid of misandry, then this is going to be a fight that they're going to be continue on fighting forever. Especially when all they want to do is defend their hatred out the gate. But I'm going to stop it right here. If I want to watch the Coffee Pods video in its entirety, I'll leave the link into the description. I'll leave the link in the comment section. Go check it out. Tell them JD Miles sent you. But that's all I got for today. I'm done with this female feminist teacher triggered over the fact that her students called her out and told her about herself. And I'm out this bitch. Later.